I did something on YouTube last year that no one else has really ever done, and I created one of the very first vampire maxing videos. Now, I actually took my own advice throughout the past year, and I have this own transformation, pretty much getting a lot more vampire features. Now, to me, vampires also throughout mainstream media, everything, I've always been known as being the sexiest, most attractive type of archetype throughout society. So why would you not want to look a little bit more like a vampire? So today, I'm going to give you a full vampire maxing guide, step by step, exactly how to look like a vampire. Without further ado, let's get it. It goes without saying that vampires have very pale skin. They're not all tanned up in the sunshine, looking all dark and handsome. No. They're very pale and handsome. It kind of adds to their mysteriousness. So step one, and the first thing I did was getting as pale as possible. So I did a couple things. First of all, I integrated a completely Korean skincare protocol. So I ditched all the American chemicals, all that BS, and I started only using the Korean stuff. Now the Koreans, they're obsessed with being as white and pale as possible. So they actually put bleaching agents in all of their skincare. So I start off with my exfoliator, the toner, the moisturizer, everything actually has bleaching agents to get your skin as white as possible. In addition to that, I also avoid the sun. And whenever I do go out into the sun, so let's say I gotta run errands, something, I'm just going outside for anything, I will douse myself in all natural sunblock. So this is going to be step one to looking like a vampire. You gotta get as pale as possible. Now some people will talk shit about this. They'll be like, oh, you look too white, you look too pale, blah, blah, blah. Ignore them, bro. If you think it looks dope, keep rolling with it. Vampires have a couple key features that really make them look aesthetic. Now you'll notice with all the sexiest fictional characters that we have been shown on TV and movies. So a couple things. First of all, the physique. Now they have more of a male model physique. They don't really have as much of the Brad Pitt and Fight Club physique. They have a little bit higher body fat. But here's the thing. They're slender, they're lean, but they're not too lean to where they could step on stage of a bodybuilding competition. I would say between 10 to 12% body fat. And they have enough muscle in the correct places. Toned shoulders, a chiseled six-pack, a toned chest, a toned back. Legs are not anything crazy. They don't look like bodybuilders. The second you get too bulky, you cannot pull off this aesthetic. Now, a couple other things, man. The number one thing I actually did was the hollow cheeks. You look at my old photo, I had a bloated up round face from my diet, from eating carbohydrates, because carbohydrates bloat up the face. And a lot of you guys have autoimmune, you have different things that you don't even know about that bloats you up. So the second I cut all that out, my face just slimmed down like crazy, and it gave me more of the vampire features. In addition to that, you gotta have the jawline, you gotta have that chiseled face if you really want to pull off this aesthetic. Something I've noticed with most vampires in fiction is that they almost always have money, but it's almost in a mysterious way because they've been around for thousands of years. So they always have a collection of money, but they're not the guy just slaving away. So the way to do this in real life, honestly, what I would suggest is get some sort of online income. You work, you grind, you make your money, you make more than the average person working the 9 to 5. But here's the thing. You don't really tell people what you're doing. Even if you're doing something as simple as video editing, you've got an account on Fiverr, you're hustling, you're grinding 24/7, you go out on a date with a girl, you don't tell her that. You make it very minimal what you actually do. But the key here is just to make it to where you do something a little bit more eccentric, a little bit different than what the typical person does. And you can work a 9 to 5, but just be more mysterious with how you present it. I don't really want you guys to fake it until you make it with this aesthetic. Honestly, I want you guys to really roll with this aesthetic if you resonate with it, because I used to always be obsessed with vampires. I would watch the vampire shows, the vampire movies. I'm like, damn, he looks so badass. So one thing that makes me feel comfortable, the most aesthetic style to me, is wearing all black. I think it's the sexiest, I think it's slimming, I think it makes everyone look good, and I am terrible when it comes to stains. Like every now and then I'll get a crispy white t-shirt, I'm like, damn, I look good, and then 12 hours later it's covered in stains. I just throw that away and then I go get my black t-shirt. So this one, you want to look like a vampire, you need to dress like it. So we got a couple key features. First of all, tank tops. Really good solid tank tops. I always advocate Zara. Now, some compression or just slim t-shirts like this one I just picked up from Zara, and it's not a compression, but it's like a slim crop t-shirt. It looks sick. Leather jackets obviously is going to be a go-to. And then the pants, we're not going skinnies. You don't want to look like you're out of fashion. So I always advocate baggy black pants. And then one thing I think every single person needs, if you want to pull up this aesthetic, is an all black suit. Everyone, they're advocating, oh, you need a navy suit. Oh, you need the base. Get that out of here, man. You're going all black. I want you looking like John Wick. Freaking 007 out here, because vampires, you'll notice, they always look classy, man. They look badass. So every now and then something more casual, they throw in a leather jacket, something more casual, but they need to be able to level things up. Get a tailored black button up, have the ability to wear a black suit, you will look so sick. This actually came down to scientific research, but pretty much half the population, they're going to be early birds, and then the other half of the population, they're going to be night owls, meaning that their circadian rhythm, they prefer to stay up later at night, and they're actually much more effective working later into night. This is also a sign of ADHD, which I do have quite a bit of ADHD, if you can't tell by my content, my businesses. So I love staying up super late. I get most of my work done super late, and this is actually obviously a characteristic of the vampire aesthetic. If you want to come off as more of a vampire, perhaps create a lifestyle, create a job, create a business, whatever it is, to where you get most of your stuff done at night. You're naturally more of a night owl. This is going to be one of the surefire ways to know that you really resonate with this archetype. Now, if you're just like that early bird, you want to wake up super early, that's perfectly fine, but maybe this archetype's not for you. I hate to say it, but you knew it was coming. You look at all the vampires in the fiction that we've been raised on, and they are all typically fairly tall. I would say between like 6 foot to 6'4". Alexander Skarsgård, True Blood, he's 6'4". Obviously, Robert Pattinson, I think he's like 6'1". So one of the traits of looking like a vampire is being a little bit taller, having that lankier physique. If you didn't know, high growth is actually only 60 to 80% genetic, 20 to 40% environmental. Now, my parents are actually both 5'8", 5'9", in that ballpark. I don't know their exact heights, and I ended up being 6'6", my brother being 6'4", 6'5", doing my exact same protocols. What we kind of broke it down to is the number one reason most people cannot optimize their height growth is because they have nutrient deficiencies. Because nowadays the food just isn't made the way it used to be. Like across all social classes in America, actually 92% of you guys are deficient in basic vitamins and minerals, which is why I created Titan Growth 2.0 on my website, kalosique.com, which has 500 to 1000% of all your daily required nutrients so that you can optimize your height growth genetics. And don't forget to pick up Hypno Sleep. Hypno Sleep contains GABA, which is scientifically proven to boost HGH by up to 400%, and the melatonin, valerian root, everything scientifically proven to help you knock out and boost those hormones even while you are sleeping. It's one of the best things for high growth. And don't forget to join Kalos VIP. Kalos VIP is my Looks Maxing school. I have my 3-hour Looks Maxing masterclass, 2-hour high growth masterclass. Right now, I've got 3 chapters of my female nature masterclass. You gotta join right now. I'm doing a huge sale up until I hit 100 members. Right now, I think I'm at 90. So you gotta join now. Link in the description box. Let's get it. You'll notice something consistent with all the vampires in fiction. They never have short hair. Like, they don't have the buzz cut, the crew cuts, the Ivy Leagues. No. They always have more the female gaze hairstyle. Because here's the thing about vampires, man. They were written by horny women. This is a fictional character that was written by women. This is why Jordan Peterson said that women actually read vampire fictional things and they masturbate to this stuff because it gets them going. So if you can create this fantasy with the woman just by having a couple key characteristics, it's gonna make you so much sexier. So you gotta have a little bit longer hair, man. You don't have to have long hair all the way down to your shoulders, which a lot of vampires actually do. Like Eric Northman in True Blood. In the books, he has very long hair, but it looks very dope. So don't cut your hair short if you want to rock with this. Always have a little bit, at least on top. It should go without saying that this is a very mysterious archetype. They're not the person who has their entire life out there. So if you have a social media following, for example, nobody knows a single thing about you. Whenever you go on a date, you barely even say anything about yourself. You have her talking most of the time, and then you don't really say anything about yourself. You're the type of guy who's very unpredictable. No one knows what you're doing, what your next move is, and it creates appeal. You are a closed book at this moment, and everybody wants to know what's inside of it. They want to get to know you, but they can't. Because you have so many walls up, you refuse to just let people know. The thing is, whenever you're an open book, you tell everyone about your life. You're just going on little rants about yourself. There is nothing left to figure out, and people get bored and they leave. One of the reasons this archetype is so sexy is because they are deep down a beast that the woman cannot tame. So if you want to really have this archetype, whenever you're in public, especially with a girl, you gotta show that aggression, protective side of yourself. You know, like, you gotta take her hand, you have to be the one leading. If anybody walks in front of you, like, don't be overly nice. You gotta be a little bit of a dick if you want to pull this off. Don't be too emotional, but you gotta be very stoic and always have the da-da-da ready to go at any second. Last but not least, it's about body hair. Now, if you want body hair, you like the bearded look, this archetype is not for you. I would recommend more the werewolf archetype, which I might actually remake that video as well. But if you want to pull this off, a couple things. You want to be clean shaven on the face. Any body hair, you want to take care of it. Personally, I shave my chest, my testicles every single day. Trim the pubes, trim the armpit hair. Not to where it's shaved, I still got armpit hair, but it is trimmed. And then if your arms, your legs are super hairy, you can trim those as well. But for me, I really don't grow that much body hair. And then last but not least, just a little frosting on top. I would advocate dyeing those eyebrows black, maybe using an eyelash curler, and then a tinted SPF. If you go one shade lighter, will make you look even more pale than you actually are. Really fulfill this aesthetic. But that's it, bro. Subscribe if you're new. I love you with all my heart. Peace.